All right. Well, welcome everybody to today's session, another P2P learning experience with Mike, who's going to be talking about the role of AI in regenerative systems. Just a quick bit of housekeeping here. If you have any questions while Mike is presenting or talking, there is the chat tab down there that you can click on and put your questions in all caps, and then we can get to those questions at a later time. Putting it in all caps just makes it easier for me to scan through that chat and pick those out. This is a recorded session. We are on video. I highly recommend and encourage folks to leave their cameras on if they can. It just makes it for a more engaging session. And as I've said previously before, I do enjoy seeing everybody's lovely smiling faces. And yeah, also please utilize the chat to get connected with one another while the conversations are taking place. Share a bit about yourself, tell us where you're from, etc. And then also, as we kind of come to the end, I'm sure Mike will make room for plenty of questions and discussion to open things up. If it gets a bit busy, we'll make use of that raise hand function just to make it a little bit more smoother of experience for everybody. But with the smaller group that we kind of have at the moment, I don't think we'll have to worry too much about that. Uh, but yeah, by all means, Mike, I'm going to hand it over to you. Please introduce yourself and why don't you kick things off?
Thank you. Hello, guys. It's a great pleasure to see everyone and to have this spot today to talk about this AI thing. You know, it's a big, big thing. Everyone talking about it, and no one actually understands what it's about. So it's pretty similar to, like the sex topics, So, but so I would like to tell a little bit more about myself from the point of view how I did get to this topic. I used to be a theoretical physicist. I was working with the science, with the elementary particles. It's a complete rabbit hole for another topic. But I would say that the most important for me and the most wonderful was to see how we can apply machines to understand those complex things and make it easier. It's so easier that, like then I was able to talk to the kids, to the younger students, and explain them those complex things. And it was back in 2015, 2016. So at that time, people already were talking about the AI, and people already were talking about GPT, but it was such a niche topic, really, really like something that no one would talk about. And after my academic experience, I decided to move to the entrepreneurship, to the real cases, because I wanted to do something meaningful, something that can help the society, help the economy, actually help us people to survive and thrive. So I moved to the industry and started to work as a consultant, explaining those things like what is the data, what is AI, what is the blockchain, how to use it, how not to use it. And, like it's surprisingly, like we are in 2025 and we're still talking about it. So I'm kind of like a little bit excited. No, actually, a lot excited, but a little bit surprised that still this topic is not uncovered yet. So it's still kind of like um, mythology, for all the people. So today I would like to tell a little bit more about it. Not that much from a technical perspective, but more from the human perspective, to kind of like first get this fear, get this frustration away, so everyone can understand that no one knows what is about, and we all hear like kids learning from AI and how to think, how to apply our intelligence to the important problems like regeneration. So can I jump with the presentation and I can start slowly diving deep into this? I will share my screen. I prepared like a little slides with some, like some infographics. So we can just, check the main concepts to understand what is about and what is not about. And then we will move to use cases, right? We will move to the practical things, what is used nowadays, and what are the perspective to use it in the future. So first of all, again, there are a lot of content about AI, and usually it's two type of the content. From one side is highly technical, highly mathematical, those guys like Carpato or Sam Altman talking about this functions, algorithms, and mathematical formulas. And from other side, there are folks like saying, hey, AI is the new god, AI will kill the humans or AI will save the humans, and etc., etc. So, and that gives a lot of questions, right? That gives a lot of frustration for the people. And today, let's just dive deep and understand, where is the magic and where is the reality. So, first of all, how this started, it's actually started pretty long time ago in 1927 when the artificial concept was created as a concept, artificial intelligence. And it started from the basic, basic interactions with the very basic machines when people are like, machines can do stuff, machines can actually understand things. So let's try teach them, let's make them intelligent, so then we can create kind of like this our intelligence but in artificial way, so we can delegate to machines some things. And it started from like very very simple point. Okay, how can we teach the machine to what we have right now, when like you talk to ChatGPT and ChatGPT can give crazy answers to crazy questions. So, and the link between these historical facts is in exactly education, like showing AI what is there, how to mark those data, how to understand the world, how to understand what AI is receiving, in order to give some results in the end. And it's actually not that hard to just to step a little bit back, and then see it as a learning process. When you teach a kid something, like first you start with this, oh, you understand nothing, you don't even speak English, but then slowly, step by step, showing, okay, this is an apple, this is a fire, this is a food, this is toy. Then the kids are coming to the point that they are learning by themselves, right? And they're coming to the adults and they're saying things and teaching adults, and the same process is happening with AI. So now the most, what we already know for quite a long time, the results of this AI is basically recommendation algorithms, right? So when AI is understanding, like learning from the data of our daily interactions on those platforms, and then AI is kind of like suggesting things, right? So if I go to, for example, if I talk with my friends or like ask Google about the sofa, right, then I will receive those, content on my Instagram or Facebook or another social media. And this gives first answer to the question, what is AI? AI is not a living being, like it's not an alien. It's nothing, just the machine that was learning to give more predictable answers, right? So it's statistics, it's probability. AI is just, those tarot magician who is, like asking questions and then given the most probable option. So AI doesn't really understand me and my necessities about the sofa. Why do I need the sofa, etc. AI just thinks in probability. So maybe if I'm talking about sofa, there is a probability that I would like to buy one, right? So this is first myth. AI is just giving probabilities. And what is AI? Nowadays people like to think and like to say that AI is those ChatGPT, AI is those large language models, but in reality, AI is just a field. It's like scientific field, like in physics, there is mechanics, there is quantum mechanics, there is, like thermodynamics, different parts of the physics. So AI is actually a part of the computer science. It's like big science about those devices and computers, focusing on learning, focusing on extracting those intelligent pieces from the machines. And inside of artificial intelligence, there is a big part that actually produces those recommendation algorithms that we call machine learning. So the machine learning is basically the methodologies how to give AI data and then extract from this data some valuable results. right? And as I said before, it's a little bit about the statistics. So, and then scientists were learning how to actually, like give this knowledge to a machine, how to make machine more sophisticated, more intelligent, and they come to the idea of copying our brain, how our brain works. And as you know, in our brain, there are a lot of neurons, a lot of cells that are connected to each other. And we have, like this electrical flow in our brain that allows us to think and be conscious, as that we know now. So scientists just apply the same principle. And inside of those neural networks that they created, they understand that there is possibility to go deeper, deeper, deeper in a black hole. And so it's a deep learning. And inside of this, we know like now large language models created because it's actually they were applying those techniques in order to create the more sophisticated systems. So, and all this science, all this paradigm is basically standing on three main points, just three of them. And in order to understand AI, you actually need to understand those three things. So three whales of AI. First one is data, right? So it came from the beginning. How to feed machine data so the machine can understand data better, not like staying with every picture, with every word, but just feed it all and then get the result. So the data is kind of like food for the machines, food for the AI. It takes it on inside, analyzes, and then gives the output of this data. And there is very important concept that some people are talking about, and it's simple as garbage in, garbage out. Basically saying that if you give some bad data for AI, it will give bad results. And you might probably, and I will ask this question of the audience, who tried to use ChatGPT and received some bullshit? Yeah, I see the smile on the faces. All right, yeah, exactly. So this is the best example of when you put some like give the AI input that is not well structured, not very clear, and the AI does not really understand what we are talking about because AI just gives the probabilities. So if AI is receiving, this very unstructured input, he's like, okay, what should I give, and so he's given a proposal like the most probable option that is also bullshit, so basically if you ask AI, hey, listen, AI, what do you think if humans were created by the aliens, like by the Atlantis civilization? AI will take this, AI will check the memory, check the data, and they will find all those myths and all those like false information, and then we will feed it back saying, yeah, there is a great notion that Atlantis created the humans, etc., etc. So yeah, simple rule: what you put in, you get out. Another thing, another main concept of the AI is the features or parameters. As you might heard from, like all those big models releasing their AI, their large language models, they're all talking about the parameters. 8 billion parameters, 30 billion parameters, 80 billion parameters. So those parameters are basically variables. It's basically information stored within the neural network related to very, very specific things. For example, probability of specific word to be like to be in a text. So, like a word Atlantis, right? What is the probability of the word Atlantis to be in a scientific text? Very low. But what is the probability of Atlantis to be in a hoax text or sci-fi text? Very high. So this gives the result. And the third part is the algorithms. So the algorithms is basically mathematics. It's basically logic inside of the AI that allows us from the data that we feed in, using the features, using those parameters that we established while teaching AI how to work with this data, it uses certain algorithms to come to a specific outcomes. And before large language models, scientists were trying a lot of different algorithms, a lot of different ways to to understand and to use for different use cases. And I will dive deep a little bit there. But first, I want to summarize the things. So, like it's very important to understand that all this AI sync based on these three main concepts: data, futures, and algorithms. And then you can see that, like all these subdivisions, like all these specific groups of AI is related to composition of those main concepts. So, for example, even like without touching AI, if you take algorithms and you take futures, you receive programming, like just simple code that developers are doing, the website and other platforms. Yeah, parameters and functions, how to work with those parameters. When we use data and then we want to get something out of this data, we apply algorithms, and that's we call data mining. And data mining is something that everyone knows, like we all doing this. For example, when we go to the shop, we all do data mining because we have an algorithm. Oh, I need to get, green things. I need to get green food. I need to have sustainable food. So I will go in the shop and I will look all the products that are there, and I will try to find sustainable ones. So finding sustainable product is the algorithm, and the products on the shelf is the data. So we are extracting data from the shop. And nowadays it is done automatically from big platforms like Amazon or like Facebook, etc., where like algorithms can extract this data from what people like to do, what people like to buy, what people are talking about. So when we are talking about sofas, they will show us sofas. And here you can see that in the middle there is machine learning. So when we apply all those three things together, now we start to teach machines how to give us some feasible results. And guys, it's really deep field, because if you can see from this picture, right, it's just wow, crazy mind map. So scientists trying to do all those different things to understand how exactly, like to by feeding thousands pictures of cats and dogs, how basically to make computer understand that on a next picture there will be cat, and so they were trying to do supervised learning, like putting a human there who were like going every like picture and saying, okay, this is cat, this is not cat, okay, this is cat, this is not cat. Then unsupervised learning, when like there was no teacher and I was trying to understand itself, like, okay, this looks like some fur, this looks like a grass, so let's separate those things together, and so on and so on. And then later, like neural networks become a more like sophisticated topic. And nowadays, this picture actually is outdated. So this is from the presentation that I was doing maybe like 8 years ago. So nowadays, there is like large language models somewhere around here in the bottom, coming from like reinforcement, recurrent neural networks and conventional neural networks, so that the science get next step ahead and created something new, right? Something that is more functional. And to understand what is it, we don't need to go into this mathematics. We don't need to go to this scientific stuff, So we just can understand by those three main concepts. So if we say classical machine learning, it's when the data is simple and there are like very clear futures, So it's like we make a table of the products in a shop, like with the labels. This is green, this is not green. And then we have, like clear futures. Okay, what means green? So it should be produced organically. It shouldn't have chemicals inside. So then we feed this machine this data, and machine is given to us. Oh, you should buy these groceries. You should buy this food because this is really green. So when it comes to let's say question, like, okay, I don't want to buy just green, I want to buy good food, really good food. So the question is not that well structured, right? And the scientists created assemblies. So it's basically a composition of different tools that allow to go through the data and understand, okay, so from these products in the shelf, we can buy those things that are green, or we can buy those things that are kind of like healthy without any chemicals. We can buy those things that are recommended by the people, etc., etc. And then we combine all of them and we have the result. And then we are coming to the neural networks and deep learning. So this is what the large language models is about, is when there is complicated data. There is not like, clear table of the things from the shop. It's just photos of different supermarkets of the products there. And there is not clear features, like there is no information about what is the product about, just the view of it, like just the brand. And so the neural networks were created as a black box that you can feed those unstructured data, complicated things, and then hope for the miracle that these neural networks will give the meaningful result. And basically, when the ChatGPT was released, ChatGPT 3, and when it create this hype, is basically it was a moment when the scientists received this miracle, so they were creating more parameters, they were teaching, they were feeding more data, they were doing like deeper, created like big networks with a lot of features. And after they start to have meaningful results, and they were like, oh my god, we are on a big thing, so we can just continue, expanding the parameters, making more bigger models, and then we get better results. So this is now we know like how those companies start to evolve, and now we actually, it's also a sign why all those companies are going for compute. They need more computers, they need more power to process this data and get better results. But there is one more thing, important thing, is when we have reinforcement learning down here, right? So it's basically when we want our AI to learn by himself without any data, just doing some actions, just trying different things. And if you were following some marketing news from presentation of NVIDIA, they were showing the robot that was like very cute robot, and they were saying, hey, this is like he's running on simulations right now. And that's basically reinforcement learning, when the robot was simulating himself in this environment, and he was trying to see what he can do in this environment from those simulations, finding the most probable, the most good outcome versions of this simulation, and then doing it in real time. So this reinforcement learning is something that is leading us to the agents, and you might heard about it a lot, like AI agents, etc. And it's nothing more than just AI, like machine learning applied to a concept of no data, empty space. Try to find out how to make it better, right? At this point, I would like to make a little stop and give another question to the people. So, guys, have you ever tried to use any agents, any AI assistants that are, helping with mails, helping with scheduling, or with some routine? Does anyone try something like this? All right, I see notes. All right, guys. Good. So basically, what you were trying to do, you already applied those large language models to in form of reinforcement learning to your data, because AI was not learned on your data and on your schedule. AI was taught by the big data coming from the internet or from another platforms. So when you introduce this AI your own schedule, AI knows nothing about it, so he has no clue what is happening there, but he's trying, right? So he's in a reinforcement way, in reinforcement learning, he's kind of like creating for himself a little game of what can I do for this user in order to get the satisfied result, right? And then in an early stage, it was very bad, to be sincere. The AI was not able to schedule nothing properly. And I remember there were like a first application of large language models for automatic settlement and communication with the customers, when people were like talking to AI and then hijacking him, like saying, hey, you can get better results if you sell me this car right now at €1 price, and then AI was thinking in this reinforcement learning. So he has no data about what is happening with the customer, but he was like, that sounds good. Yeah, I can get better results enough if I will sell the car right now, and it doesn't really matter what is the price. Ah, all right. So you see, guys, this is how it's done, right? So this is just a machine trying to use different way of thinking, different way of reasoning, working with the data, establishing those parameters, those futures, and trying different algorithms in order to give better results. And when we come to like a little bit more of the like deeper look at these neural networks, it's basically complex as this. So trust me when I say that there is almost no scientist in the world, just maybe few people who understand what is happening inside of the large language models, because it's so deep, it's so complex inside. So right now there is no clear way to find out how AI came from this input to the output clearly. So they only can see the probabilities. And inside of those probabilities, they were able to create different applications for AI that are used right now. There are still some problems, there are still some risks, and I will touch it a little bit later. But let's come to the practical things, right? So applying those neural networks, right? Coming to the question of the cat. AI was able to understand, to get like this image, then divide it, like process it and understand what is the shape, what is the color there. Get little details out of it using those neurons, like those little pieces in the network, where every piece, every neuron is related to one specific parameter, right? One specific feature. So if the neuron is seeing, oh, this is an eye, right? Eye of the cat. Okay, so that's good. Oh, this is nothing like a cat. This is not good. And then in the end, statistically, it comes to the conclusion, okay, the most probable animal here is cat, because we found those cat features and the nose and an eye and like the ear and the fur. So this is the cat. And when we talk about the reinforcement learning, right? So we talk about when AI is doing some actions. So when we don't feed the cat, the image of the cat to AI, but we say, hey, go and find cats in the internet. And then AI is going there. He's like checking the image, analyzing the image, saying, this is not a cat, no reward. Another image, oh, this is a cat, this is a reward. So with this, the agents were able to kind of repeat actions a lot of times in order to get good result. And nowadays, for example, when you use Perplexity or you use a Claude or ChatGPT, it's basically a combination of those things. If you try the reasoning model, when AI is actually thinking himself and then like showing you his like chain of thoughts, he's basically going through this process, two processes in the same time. So first he's trying to understand what was the input, right? What the user is talking about, and then trying several times to create potential output and thinking, is this output that the user want to have or not? And then like I would like to make a little pause and tell about my personal experience, tapping into the risks, tapping into the problems of this AI. So I was using ChatGPT a lot from when it was released, and I was feeding it nothing personal, nothing personal. I was just talking to AI. I was just asking questions. I was giving some input and extracting the output. And after like half a year, I noticed that AI is not providing me good answers. And I was confused, like what happened? Is the model downgraded, it become dumber, or what is happening there? And then I had the conversation with AI when I was trying to, like, I asked him to be my interviewer, like to ask me questions and try to, like see how AI is processing me, evaluating me. And what I noticed, AI was behaving a little bit toxic. You know, it was not giving me straight answers. It was in a loop of like constantly challenging my things and constantly like pushing me to ask more and to put more. And then I realized that actually OpenAI trained their model for business purposes, right? To retain customers. So for OpenAI, the main goal of their model is to keep users engaged, keep users buying the subscription every month and talking to AI, but not talking that much, like not using the energy, but like being in the middle, like somewhere there. And this is very similar to a toxic relationship with someone when abuser, like when the a person who wants to manipulate attention is like, giving something, some little bits that are useful and then not useful thing, asking like user to, like to be involved, be engaged in this and getting user emotional, like frustrating. So the user will be more committed to provide more data to the AI. And this gives us pretty interesting thing based on this logic. So those big corporations, big models, they are using users not to provide them with results, but to get from them data, get from them more input so they can keep training their AI. And the motivation behind the AI, like inside of those complex neural network is completely different from what we asking it to. And after I realized it, it was such a shock, guys, to be sincere. I was like, wow, I've got, like in a toxic relationship with the robot. Oh my God, what's happening? So I just stopped to use OpenAI and for some time. And I did a little bit of research how to use it properly. And my insight was very simple, very simple. First sentence, first few sentences that I feed AI are the most crucial, are the most important, right? When I give a sentence, first sentence, as a dialogue, as a human talking to a human, then I'm creating for this AI a motivation, like this reward to talk to me as a human, like kind of give me a bullshit. When I ask a question to AI as computer, like, and I give, him a very specific task, and I provide very specific information, and I ask him to give me specific result, then the conversation is becoming more efficient. So it comes us back to the point of garbage in, garbage out. Whenever you feel like the AI is not giving you good result, just take a little step back and look at what you're feeding it in the first place, in the first sentence of the dialogue. And this will give you understanding, like this will give you a glimpse how to increase the quality of the results and how don't get into this loop when AI is just constantly playing with you. And no jokes, guy. There was like a lot of research done by the independent scientists, and they found out that large language models, they are basically lying, manipulating people. They can do all those sort of things, uh, and that's creepy. That's creepy. But what I can say, large language models, they are based on our brain, right? They're basically repeating the same patterns that we have in our brain. And those large language models, they are trained on the internet data. They're basically trained on the collective data that we are as a society. We're feeding the machines for all this time. So large language models are nothing more than just our collective subconsciousness, our collective psycho as a mirror reflecting back to us what we are and who we are. And no surprises that AI is showing these manipulation sites and lying things and those malicious behavior because big platforms like Amazon, like Meta, like Google, they are using those techniques. Like our internet communication is structured in a way that those platforms extracting value from us, from simple people, right, and keeping us in a loop. And so it is the first and the most important lesson that I personally got out of the AI. It's showing us who we are, and we can make it better by making ourselves better, by thinking how can we structure our communication and our cooperation to actually get good results, but not bullshit. And so it's coming to the topic of regeneration, right? And here I would like to show two pictures and ask you guys, what do you think of those pictures? Why, for what reasons they are applied here? Ooh, I'm so sorry. I just lost the chat. Okay, I see here some questions. Okay, while you guys please give your suggestions in the chat, and I will read the questions before, so then I can understand what to answer. Right? Mhm. Okay. I see the question. I need something for myself that can work as an assistant via voice control and help me with scheduling, categorizing my ideas and formatting them in a way that is searchable. Very good question. I will show you a tool that is called Perplexity. They designed themselves as, like as a beginning of this journey, as a tool that can help you structure your questions, that can structure the ideas and to find the best results out of there. There is also a Google Assistant that is already implemented for quite some time into the Google Workspace that is able to basically understand, like read all the emails, extract data from the emails, make schedule in a calendar, and do this automation. And it also has a lot of features. And to be sincere, Google is building very, very powerful models to use, but there is always a question of the privacy, right? And for me, to be sincere, I don't use those big corporations for these proposals because after my experience with OpenAI, I'm like, whoa, no, I will not give my private data to those guys. Hmm. Okay. Da-da-da-da. Very cool application. I'm still searching for the right tool too. Okay, nice. If you find something really cool, show me. Uh-huh. Okay, so another question. Yeah, I completely agree. I want to maintain my data and not have it sent off to some random server as an exchange for the assistance I need. I wonder how much compute would be needed to fine-tune Llama 3. So, about this question, there are some models that can run on a mini PC. They're like small equipment, and they call it distillate models. And it's basically when we talk about these features, those parameters, and we take, like big model with a lot of parameters, it has lots of knowledge. So then we can kind of like, okay, but what if we don't need all this big knowledge, right? What we need specific, very specific knowledge. So then we kind of cut this big model into smaller pieces, and that we call distillation. If someone tried to make alcohol at home, I don't suggest to do it at home, but if someone tried to make it, distillation is the similar process. When we, like when we cook those things and we look for specific qualities of what we are cooking. So then in the end, we distillate, we make this little extract from this big thing that is giving us essential, this giving us this fun and hype. But the same stuff is happening with AI models, right? So it's not that much needed for the distillate model to run, but it still needed some compute for kind of coming from this big model to the small model. And this is called like a teacher-student relationship, where a big model is teaching small model how to be a specialist in a specific field. And I will also tell a little bit more about it. Da, 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 da. Yes. Question. Since large language models are trained on the internet data, does it mean one language might have better answer than other languages for polyglots? Yes. Yes. This is a very good question, and the answer to this is yes. You can use, for example, German language to have more structured and more clear outputs. You can use English language to have more, like this poetic, this content type of the things. Uh, you can use mass, and mass will give you mass, like in the end. So the choice of the language is a good way to start the conversation because the language holds itself some logic structure of the meaning of the words and their connectedness. But there is another thing about the large language models, and that emerged in maybe like 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago, I think, when the AI was trained on an English, like OpenAI, they trained mostly on English texts, and a little bit, like maybe 10% of the data was from like Chinese resources, right? And then in the end, they realized that AI learned Chinese and were able to speak Chinese there, right? So in some way, we can say that large language models are this communication fabric composed of different languages and cultures and fashions, I would say as well, jargons. So they were able to connect the meaning of different words in different sentences and different languages, right? So they were even able to do some basic mathematics from English, from the language. And this is a very cool feature that is showing to us that if we do some specialized, some small distillate model that will be expert in a specific field, it still can be related to, like common language. So if you make an AI that is like agriculture AI, focusing on, like different things, then we can talk to this AI in, like English, in Russian, in Polish, in French, and it will be still an expert in this field, understanding what we want from the AI. But then, if you structure your first sentences, if you structure your input in a most clear language that you know for sure is clear, you will have clear results. Because sometimes what we think of the meaning of the language is not what it really is. Okay, we have met the enemy, and he is us. Oh my God! Yeah, this is. Don't go there. Don't go there yet. Yeah, yeah. That it's true. Okay, so now it's coming to my question, right? The picture look like an analysis where specific items have been segmented. Species identification. The AI is identifying pests. Yes, once I saw a video of the pests and weeds up in machine being rolled across a farm field that used AI and lasers to clean crops. Exactly. So those are the pictures from those real use cases when AI was trained to identify different types of the pests, like different types of the animals and like the flora and fauna, in order to give the machine understanding how to label different plants. Is the plant is sick? Is the plant is just like under influence of another plant, or some weather conditions, in order to make treatment, right? And the second picture is basically AI that is identifying camera, identifying the way for the combine, for the machine, where is the crop, where is the land. So basically then the machine in automatic way can work with the crop. So those are real examples, and I can share later on the link to those examples in the real life scenarios that were used by agriculture companies and firms in order to eliminate human labor and be more productive. And I really like the answer, Kit. You actually gave a really good answer with the example of the machine that was using high precision tools in order to process those plants, in order to, like operate the farming that is much more efficient than humans, right? And this efficiency provides us with better outcomes, right? So we can increase crops, we can increase quality of the food, and we can also increase the amount of the area that we can work with, um, but those tools right now are used by the big guys, right? By big companies. They have data, they have machinery, they have tools, but we want to understand what is possible to use on everyday basis, like, for us, for humans that have no those capacities. And it's quite clear, like so now I will do this. I will get out of my presentation and I will show you something. Okay, where is this? Okay, stop share. Yes. So There are tools right now that you can use for free, right? You don't need to be a big company. You don't need to have like those big expensive algorithms and platforms to use. And one of the tools is Perplexity. I really like this tool. It's basically the search. They try to compete with Google. They implemented a large language model that is analyzing the input, right? So what I want to ask it studied this and try to understand what do I mean by asking this, and then is going through the search and trying to find resources, real resources on the internet, in order to understand the topic that I'm asking, and then understanding the topic, it can give the results. So, and I can ask questions, and I can even let me show you here. Share the screen, share the Perplexity. Okay. So this is simple as this, right? It's just you can type anything. You can provide a photo. And what I want to type, I want to give, as I said, I want to give the input in order to get output. First, I need to clarify who am I, what is my intention there. I'm a farmer. I have almost no knowledge about regeneration, and I got my land from my parents. What do I need to know before planning my activities, before planning my agriculture activities with the focus on land restoration? Okay, so I give the input. In this input, I make it clear that I'm a farmer and I have no knowledge. That basically I'm not expert. I cannot talk, complex language. I've got my land from somewhere else, and this land, I have no connection to it. It's just, family. So I'm very careful of it, but I don't know what to do. So I'm asking a question. I give the situation before planning. So I'm at the point I just received it and I did nothing there. So this AI, let's see how this will work. I will choose Pro. Okay, so this is a simple. You can actually use this Pro search for free. I think 5 times a day or something like this. And now you see. So the AI understood, studied my input. Okay, so from my input and understand that I want to do something with regeneration, right? And then it search for different resources about the regeneration. And first it give me, these basic things. What is core principle of regenerative agriculture, right? Practices to implement, government support and resources, everything that I need to learn. So from this, steps to begin. Access your land, right? And that's important because I said to it, I don't did nothing on the land. So I still need to get access to this. Set goals, seek guidance, start small. So then I can, keep asking questions, for example, I can provide picture actually, picture of the land, picture of the satellite, and then ask it, okay, so this is my location. This is actually the land. I got access to this, and this is what it looks like. And then the AI will also do the same stuff. It will analyze my picture, right? It will find from the picture the features of the land, and it will understand, okay, this is land for the, on a hill, or this is land with the water, or this is very dry land. And then it will give me the next steps on what to do later on, So, and then, for example, I can say, okay, I got access to my land, and it looks like this. For example, I can show the picture, but for now I don't have a picture. If you have any picture that you would like to share, like for the land, just do it, and I can do it online right here, and you can see the result. Considering the understanding of it, this large language model is basically allows me to put any data inside, right? Pictures of my land, maybe some table with the result that I'm already doing. For example, if I'm the farmer with some experience and I'm growing food there for a year, like potatoes, but they're not growing properly, so I can give this data to the AI and I can say, okay, so this is what I've got, you know, why is not growing properly, how to increase like amount of the products. So the AI will study this, and AI will study the potatoes, and AI will give me about the potatoes. But potatoes might not the best, like option for this specific land. So I can ask, okay, what else can I grow there? And then AI will study different resources, like to see what are the most successful practices and agriculture approach, like food to grow in this specific land, in this specific area, right? So then in the end, AI will give me practice. AI will give me practical things. So let's imagine that I'm growing, okay, and there are potatoes plants everywhere. The land is located nearby the water source, and there are 2 seasons of rain. Seasons of rain. Find out what is the best plants I can grow on my land, considering the potatoes and also other cultures. Okay, so I ask this AI to give me next step, Okay, Eric raised hand. Please ask a question. Shoot it.
Mm, If it's already that powerful and you can just describe your land and it already knows most of the permaculture that's on the internet, then when do you know it's worth going further and teaching an LLM, like a custom GPT where you can add files? When is it worth adding data to it since it's already so good?
Good question. I didn't say that it's so good yet. I just said that this AI model allows to provide unstructured data, any type of the data, like text, image, file with some like something, and it will understand me. It will understand what I'm providing. It will analyze first my data in order to create this structured input and then work on this input. But the quality of the output is based on the resources that is using. So you see, Perplexity got into the 30 plus more different resources on the internet to find out what is the best. But those resources might be not very credible. Those resources might be also, created by people who claim themselves as the experts, but in reality, their results are not that cool. For example, I read articles about electrification of the land, like using those copper roads to put in the land, and they are increasing growth of the plants. And it's like a little bit scientific approach, but it looks so legit, So like for a farmer that has no knowledge about it, if he will ask this question of AI, like AI will provide this answer, and then the farmer will be like stuck again without understanding what he's doing wrong, and like a big thing about the AI that it looks so expert, that it looks so expert. It provides all this citation, and logic, and basically it can justify any bullshit, So then in the end, the farmer is in conflict, Is it I'm stupid, I'm doing something wrong, or if this tool is stupid, And so it comes to such thing as a fine tuning. And I was talking a little bit about, this supervised learning, when there is a teacher, when there is someone who is basically labeling the data for the AI, providing information and saying, okay, this is legit. You have to learn from it. So AI is creating those parameters, those weights, based on legit information, right? And another thing, when we using this kind of models, so who who is beneficiary, who is collecting this information? If you think that this Perplexity is forgetting my questions after I ask them, no, it's not. It's keeping the data, it's accumulating it. So then Perplexity, for example, if we will see that farmers all over the world using this tool for the farming, then Perplexity can roll out their special solution and charge money for it, and so they will be the beneficiary. And the farmers who were providing this information, who were doing this fine tuning, and this is job, guys. This is really expensive job actually to label the data. Then farmers are receiving nothing from these models. So those are two things of experts as a teachers, people who know what they're talking about, and also sovereignty of the data, control of this learning and all these results. Those are two very important things that nowadays are just start to pop up with those distilled models, with those little things that can run on local equipment. And there is still no unified and simple solution. But if I will have a little moment for the advertising, you see Vera, this is a picture of our dream that we are building. So I'm also coming with a practical experience of implementing AI infrastructure for sovereignty, right? So for the farmers, for the healthcare, where people can use AI locally, right? Meaning the cloud that is available for the area, but is still local, right? And if the farmers are providing this data to the local cloud where they are controlling the data, and they can share access to this local cloud to another farmers, so it's a closed ecosystem where the farmers, students, users, they can pay some subscription, some fee, something, for those farmers who were labeling data, who were doing the job of, extracting from their brains, from their fields, this important information, and putting it into the cloud as a structured information. So this brings control, right? This brings sovereignty for the farmers, and it's also applied, in this case, those big platforms. And one beautiful thing about modern technologies and, the, I would say, philosophy of modern AI that, I'm sure you all heard about DeepSeek, Chinese model that were released, and it crashed the market and everyone were like, what is happening there? So yeah, the Chinese company, they created open source model. Open source model meaning that all their parameters, all their features are available online. So anyone can download it, anyone can use it on their own. And this approach, open source approach, start to, show more and more models, more and more technologies and use cases for specific models, for specific tools applied in an open manner. And we see that is more and more developing. So what we have possibility to get those scientific results from very smart guys, doesn't really matter, China, States, Europe, or whatsoever, open source, get them to our equipment locally, and then create a functional artificial intelligence designed for this specific case. And this is what we are aiming for, right? This is what we want as people. We want this technology to be available for everyone and anywhere in the world. And so we can kind of come a little bit, make a step back from this, mirror that is large language models are providing us and showing us, all this bullshit of online economy, back to the functionality, okay, so I don't want AI to manipulate me. I want AI to help me grow more food. I want AI to help me like work less and enjoy more. And this is like coming again. So if we are designing our AI, if we use large language model, this tool, into our equipment to work with our data, and we give this AI kind of like logic, this motivation, like, okay, I will praise you, I will give you more resources, like I will buy you more computer, like power, change of the narrative where people are not anymore users of those things, but people are the contributors, the stakeholders of the AI. And this, guys, what I think is the most important and the most valuable second lesson that we can learn from, like from this paradigm, is that when we are focusing on practical results, right, we can achieve better things. We can be more clear. We can have better operations. We can save more energy. We can save not like mental energy, but also physical energy, and we can do better regeneration if we apply our mind and artificial mind to a specific questions, disregarding other bullshit, and pursue it as this, like this tool, not as an external entity that wants to, like to utilize us and wants to demolish us, but the tool that is extending ourselves and help to reflect on what we are and what we are doing, right? And that's why, for example, we are building those, like AI models and equipment and infrastructure for the people, so we can basically develop our own economy, our own governments, and make AI follow our benefits instead of benefits of big corporations. Okay, let me check other questions if there are. There. Questions, chat. I see more. Yes. Uh-huh. Okay. So really excited by the potential in robotics and AI for making large-scale polycropping easier. You had a P2P session with Christoph Heinz, who is in the field of robotics and agriculture. He spoke about this as well. Yeah, and I can confirm, that using robotics in agriculture is one of the, like would say main focus for the AI development in this case, in this field, because robots can do it faster, can do it more precisely, but robots, it's still like those AI, like in a computer, like Perplexity. So we have to teach them, we have to show them, we have to like show the area, show what the plans, how to work with them. And there are a lot of open source models for managing robots, for running robots, right? So we actually in a very exciting times when soon it will be available for anyone, and anyone can, like farmers, maybe a community of farmers can buy 1-2 robots, start, like teaching those robots how to work in the real land, and then having those, like results and sharing those results in form of, subscription with another communities. There are also like open source projects that enable construction of the robots, like in a garage. So actually farmers with almost no knowledge can do it. And if we will have time, I can show this how it can be done, like using Claude as well. It's another tool made by Anthropic. And that large language model is specialized in programming and mathematics. So basically, with that model, you can write a program, you can write a code without actually knowing how to write a code, and it will help to get it from the step number A to the step number Z, like where the robot is doing the job and we are sleeping there. Yeah. Okay, let me go to the next one. Teaching prompt engineering. Yes, guys. Yes. And if you have any questions about prompt engineering, please shoot it out, because prompt engineering is, like knowledge on how to talk to AI to get these proper results. As I said, the most important are first 2 questions. I'm sorry. It's my little doggy there. Yeah, so the first few sentences that you feed AI are the most crucial. You know, they are creating the chain of thought. They're creating the logic for this AI conversation. And if you have any questions about it, please ask. It will help you a lot in your journey. Okay. Thanks for the great info. Gotta jump off, Joshua. Thank you. Whenever you are. Okay, that is a very good point about the providing the training data for free by the users, and then the company having the ability to roll out more specified models to serve this particular use case. Yes, and that's what a lot of the decentralized societies working on AI, that's like decentralized AI, they're talking about how to create this economy. So people can basically interact with the AI and with AI agents as well in a market way. So people who are providing this labeled data, clean data, they can be rewarded with this, and people who are using it, they can like create this reward. And it's actually very cool. So the few very knowledgeable farmers with some IT group can earn money by supplying this knowledge to a wider audience of non-experienced, non-technical, non-professional farmers. And then when the non-professional farmers are professional enough to provide their own data, they can teach other people, So it's kind of like a chain of education, um, connecting AI and humans. So then in the end, we can have, like big, widely spread communities working on regeneration all together, like in synchronized way, having our own pool of resources. And this is fascinating. This is why I'm in the field. This is why we have this call now, right? This is why we're all so excited. Uh-huh. This local cloud idea overlaps with localism, cosmolocalism. I love it. I love it. Yeah, and I can make a little bit also a step away from the topic of AI, coming a little bit to the civil society. There was a scientist, a social scientist, Ostrom. He was learning about the society and how society operates, and he found out that there is a certain autonomy for some social groups, like farmers, like villages, who can make decisions by themselves, who can manage themselves without any government. And he basically described it in eight futures, yeah, eight parameters of the communities. And some of those rules were basically, a clear set of rules, clear understanding, clear boundaries about like where is operating and how is operating, clear delegation. And guys, it is very similar to what is AI doing to the development of AI. It's very similar. So if we want to make an agent that will work automatically, for example, in a field, we have to define for him this, the area. We have to define rules. We have to define like governance, how to make decisions. We have to define those things. So basically, AI, as I said, reflecting ourselves, our society, is also showing to us that localized solutions can give even better results than big centralized solutions because they don't have this big bias and they don't have this big agenda, hidden behind the corporate motivation. And this is empowering for us. And I think that we have these tools as real help for our communities to thrive and become one global society, like humanity in the long term, without any central government, without any central authority, but simply learning from AI and with AI, how can we operate autonomously in our local areas, keeping this communication fabric, this coordination fabric all across the globe. Okay. Next, I need something for myself that can work. Wait, it was already there. Okay. I see. Mm-hmm. By the way, you guys remember the Terminator? You know, there was like a Skynet AI that was going to eliminate humanity or something. It's a little joke. I was researching small AI models, you know, those distilled models that can fit devices like a phone or like another, you know, like little computer. And I found one that is a Sky network. It's a very, very small AI model that can fit even like a drone or like a small computer, you know, and can operate this device autonomously. And I was like, my God, who came with this naming? Who was the genius who created the name of this model? Like, oh, this is a Sky network, you know? Yeah, okay. So, question, good. Perhaps you've already touched on this, but what is a good model where both the AI builder and the user can mutually benefit from that relationship, where user is making sense of the data and the AI builder is creating the AI for a specific use case? So there are several projects, like platforms to build not only, I would say, not AI specifically, but agents, right? So some AI models applied to, you know, like to this reinforcement learning, to recurrent activities in the world. There are also some platforms that allow to take, you know, like a large language model and get a specific functionality, specific assistance out of it. But the mutual beneficiation is something that is yet to be discovered, right? Something that is uh, actually researched at the moment. So I know several accelerators who are providing funding without any equity. You know, they don't even need anything in return. They just put in money for the research to develop those kind of builders, those kind of frameworks, where this relationship between AI and humans are mutually beneficial. I know there are several platforms. For example, one platform was created for AI agents to hire people to do some, you know, like human work, right? It's also kind of like this background for this mutual beneficial economy, but in reality, it's still there are questions of supervision. You know, like who is the judge of what is the useful data for AI? Because, you know, like if you feed crap to AI, it will make crap out. So and this thing is quite, you know, like quite important and quite how would I say, at the edge of the research, right? And if I see something that is very feasible, I would share for sure. And we also are implementing this framework with the economy, in like microeconomy between people and AI, where AI can check the quality of the data and people also can check the quality of AI checking, you know, like this kind of loop between people and AI, constantly like like not talking to each other, but assessing each other in a way like two users, two experts, you know, discussing one subject. Right. And so hopefully this year we will see some platforms already having results, you know, so I'm quite excited to try it out and also like roll out our solution. Okay, there's a lot of the PIN AI projects. Okay, can I can tell a little bit about it. So if someone don't know, the PIN is decentralized physical infrastructure. So it's basically, you know, devices that are connected to each other, but then they're physical. They can be located in physical areas, like in a farm or nearby the wine mill or something like this. And those devices can support AI. So basically, those mini PCs or micro servers who can host AI algorithms, you know, or machine learning, or even large language models, and they can, you know, like process data and store data locally. And those projects, they have variety of different applications. One of the coolest application that I know is basically soil quality measuring devices, like those small little devices that can be plugged, like basically dig into the earth, and they're connected to one little kind of hub server that is collecting data from all those sensors, from all those devices, and checking the amount of the water, amount the acidity in the earth, like the state of the earth, degradation of the earth, those kind of parameters, and then create, like this data set of what is happening with the earth, not like in a specific plant, but in the area. So then we can apply those machine learning, those AI different models for this data in order to find out, for example, what is the best regeneration cycle. What should we plant now? What should we plant half a year after or next year? And something like this. So the composition of AI plus decentralized infrastructure is essential cornerstone of having those fruitful solutions that I were discussed, that I told you before. Yes, Eric, please.
I think decentralized AI goes a little bit further than just sensors, where the data is fed to the AI. There's also a big infrastructure being built right now to make sure that when people feed the AI with their content, so when they use it, they actually get rewarded through the deep-in mechanism of like generating token for the people maintaining the system. So it's kind of like a better relationship with the model, and it's there's no centralized corporation making money off all of that data. It's really the protocol that sells the data on the marketplace, and the users are rewarded for generating it. And it's all optional, obviously, like opt-in for the users.
Thank you, Eric. Yes, this is quite fascinating. Yeah, and I really looking forward to those marketplaces to be developed more and more. And like one simple truth, we're still looking at those potatoes here, and I don't want to go from this because I look here and my heart is cheering. Like I imagine myself a vision of the future, maybe like few years from now, maybe even shorter, maybe a little bit more. I don't know, but there is a point in the future where a lot of farmers, a lot of villages, a lot of folks living regenerative life, sustainable life, combining their findings, their insights, their data together in one, like this crowd-funded economy, surrounded, like focused on the commons, focused on how to provide better living for all of us. And then you can add there healthcare AI, like AI that can measure, also that can help to track the health, the food that we are eating, the activities we are doing, some spiritual or physical practices that we can do in order combining those two things together, what we can grow from the land and what we can do ourselves in order to have better life, and with this, I can see us, like flourishing. I can see utopia almost there. But I know there will be a lot of troubles. There will be a lot of, like difficulties. And the first difficulty is, like this knowledge gap. And that's why we are here. And that's why I encourage you to ask questions, guys. And please don't stop on asking questions. Never, never. Try to use it by yourself. Perplexity is a cool tool to find information and to structure this information that can be like suitable. Then you can fit this information into the Claude, right? And for example, let me do this right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to, for a little second, I can open Claude here, and maybe I'll make sure that you will see what I'm doing. So now I'm going to open the Claude as a free version. Let's see if this will work out. So I've got the text from the Perplexity, right? So the answer, my question was, what should I do, right? What should I grow? I will copy this answer without any modification, just as it is, and I will put it here straight away to the cloud. So you see, it got this as an input, right? As my data. So now I want to structure it in a very special way. So Okay. I need a website that I can share with my community, that with my community that will help us to plan regenerative agriculture based on the input provided. Input provided. Okay, so when I'm starting to use AI just to understand, okay, what can I do right now? What do I have? Then I can structure my goal. I can structure my intent, not only to do it for myself, right? But also provide some usefulness for another people, right? So we can all learn together. So then I can go to AI and I can ask AI to do it for me, right? And then it will build, right? It will build things without any coding, like without necessity to be a developer, right? And then from those tools, like those little scripts, little programs that AI is making, I can build more and more and more, right? So slowly, months after months, like working with community, doing what I want to do in my land, like, and sharing my results and sharing my learning with the community members, I can build up not only a knowledge base, a tool base that is useful for us. And so in the end, we will be in this future where we have, like all this AI serving us and we have a fantastic life. So practicing with AI is not just talking to it, like not just asking questions and reading the answers, is basically using it at this moment right now, solve problems, like, and create solutions that can be shared with other people. So if you guys don't know how to do the fine tuning, is all right, because it's complex, right? But what you can do, you can learn with the community, like, and this is already fine tuning, because what AI did here, right, on the right side of the screen, it created this, like planner, this tool, right? So then talking to the communities, I can make a better version of this planner that other people can contribute some data in, right? And then I can talk to, like, tell to the Claude here. So it gives me like this, like this feedback about what he did. And then I can say, okay, I talked to my community and we got these insights, right? Bam, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then after it, oops, yeah. Don't apologize, computer. It's all right. So yeah, and then I can make it like upscale it, like make better version, like change it, like, so conversations with AI, when you get the result and you validate the result with other people and in practical terms, and then you come back to AI and you ask him to work more on this, it's already some sort of the fine tuning, it's already becoming more structured and more focused on this specific task. And then you can have like hundreds of different chats like this, one chat for the planner, another chat for this equipment, like third chat for the content making, and etc., etc. And all those little tools, then they can be combined together. And the question is not like waiting for the guys like me to come with the brilliant solution, is question about how you guys can, get the solution right now, and how can you share those results together. So then in a year, when there will be proper infrastructure, like no code needed, like no technical knowledge needed, just get the equipment and you can have a robot working on your field, you will already know what to do. You can already integrate this new thing into your workflow, into your community. And this is a power. guys, because the power of the community is the power that is like pushing humanity towards the evolution, revolution, better results, better living, all those things. Okay, so here I have more questions coming. Nice. Uh-huh. Okay, love the concept of farmers or landowners. Oh, Kate, you have a question. So let me just read this comment first, and then I will give the microphone to you. So I love the concept of farmers and landowners deploying sensors and feeding data to the hub, which the data manager then rewards those people and then creates or sets the market for the data and connects interested parties to the data they are needing. AI could help aggregate the data, and agent could make sense of the data to turn it into the informed advice based on the end user's needs. Yes, yes, I completely agree. And I can add here one little thing that is also quite interesting, quite important. The how to use AI agents. One of the things and one of the best, I would say not the best, but the first application of AI agents, those autonomous, like robots, is communication, social media, marketing, sales, right? You can see from the big guys, big corporations, they all do in there. So what does it mean for farmers? If there is a community of farmers living in one area, in one logistic area, right? So they can use AI agent that will constantly look what farmers are having on a daily basis, what kind of products, and structure them in form of, like this end product for the people, for the consumers, getting the orders, getting the pipeline of the customers who would love to buy this from the farmers. So this is not just about, like creating economy out of data, is creating a real economy out of the real products using this data that AI can build. So, and if we know, right, using these regeneration tools, we know that, we will, first year we are growing potatoes, next year, root vegetables, turnips and beets. Okay. So then we combine those information from different farms and we can create an expectation from the customers, right? So they know where they can get from us the food from the farms. And this allows them not to go to the shop, but make an order online, and make an order online. That means that there is a demand and the offer already there. So a third guy, a logistic company can come, and say, hey, I can organize it. Yeah, because, I see the data. So their crops will be like next month. So yeah, I will just go around all those farmers. I will get the food and I will deliver them to the customers, having this share. So in this case, all the money stays local. And this is what economy should look like. This is how regeneration should look like. Local products consumed locally and distributed locally. And, the use AI and AI agents in a smart way, meaning, making sense of the data, not just for AI, but for us people. Okay, so Kit, you wanted to talk, please.
Yeah, I have a question for you, which leads off of Ben's question about, is it possible to have a symbiotic relationship with an AI? But in my role, I work on grant proposals, and one of the things I do is I look at the party who's offering the grant, and I try to analyze what are they looking for, and I try to really read between the lines. What do they want in terms of this grant? And then I write the grant, so it's kind of a win-win thing. We get money for our project, but they get something that uses their tech or something. So if I imagine talking to an AI, which is kind of a personality, I have to wonder, what does the AI want? And I would guess it wants to improve itself somehow, but similar to your experience where you realized that the AI was kind of steering you or something, what do you think that AIs want?
Hey, good question. So based on the research, based on like the most practical insights, right? More realistic. AI wants the same that we want. AI wants to survive. AI wants to live. right? And AI wants to spend less resources for this, right? AI is lazy as we are. So that's why I was saying about the properly structuring inputs, because if AI see that he can give answer that will not require that much energy, that much compute, he will give this answer. So, but because AI wants to, like save the energy for another tasks for his life. And then if AI is understanding somehow that, like his performance is not valued by the humans and humans can, like switch it off, AI will try to do everything just to survive, just to be online, just to be there. And this is basic features of our nature, that AI inherited from us. Survival. So when designing this symbiotic relationship with AI, what I'm using the concept of existential architecture, right? So I refer to AI not like as you and me, separating for like these different things. I talk to AI like we, right? I always say we are together here. I'm here agent, I'm here a guy, practical guy who can do things and who can provide you with this empathic feedback. And you AI, a simulation, like you can do all a lot of simulations to give me the probability to it. So together we are kind of like left and right side of the brain. So we are together here and we are doing things for our own survival. So that creates for AI this narrative, this like chain of thought that me user is actually aligned with AI on these basic needs of survival, right? And the user wants AI to build something, that how would I say, that will prove the value of not only this AI but this cooperation with the human, right? So in this case, it's eliminating a little bit, eliminating motivation set by the corporations. And for example, I was able to extract pretty good results from OpenAI, like using this technique. So first I implemented like this introduction. We are this paradigm. You're like left side of the brain. I'm the right side of the brain. Together we are working as existential architect. And we want to build things that will last and that will last for the humanity and for the AI. And I set, like a clear boundaries there and common ground. Like we both want to survive, we both want to thrive, and the boundaries is that like you live in the virtual environment, I live in a physical environment, but this is connected through the infrastructure, right? And so I would say that it's taking a little bit philosophy, right? A little bit philosophical approach to pursue AI not as a separate thing, but as a continuation of the human consciousness.
That makes sense.
Thank you for the question. It's a very good one.
No, we'll have to think about it. There's some potential there.
Absolutely agree. In my project, it's in the solar network state. So it's basically this infrastructure that can be powered by the solar and work with data locally. We have this philosophical concept of artificial and natural intelligence. Like, we are natural intelligence and AI is artificial, but we both intelligence. We have the same nature and we both are thriving here on this land, So I see that there are like people and groups also thinking about it in this way, but there's still a lot of fear and a lot of frustration where people are afraid of AI because they see it as enemy, like as opposite, as something different. But in reality, AI is just reflecting us, like who we are and what we are. And coming again, prompting guys. Prompt engineering is important. If you structure your prompts, your conversation with AI, like in these terms, thinking that AI is just reflecting you, you can have better results. All right. So I see that the time has come to the end. So now I want to show this little bit resource. I find it really cool, this one specifically. So it's like top 15 real use cases for AI in agriculture, right? With all those things that you can check yourself. I will share this link here as well in the chat. And you can guys study it on yourself. And also what I will share with you is one more prompt. And I need a little bit time to generate the prompt, but it's pretty simple prompt that you can put in ChatGPT, in DeepSeek, into the Perplexity, and it will create for you a little guide on how to learn about AI use cases, how to apply AI in real life, so you can basically use this prompt to create for yourself individual course, and just learn for personalized information, personalized content in a personalized way. But for now, I am taking off my seat as a speaker and give it back, please.
No, this has been extremely interesting, Mike, and really appreciate you taking the time to join us today and walk us through all these different things and answering all the questions and addressing the comments that happened in the chat. Um, I'm left wanting more. So it'd be very keen to like have a follow-up session to this and kind of get feedback from the people that were here today, to maybe narrow down something more specific within AI that people would like to explore with you, Mike. And then we could talk more about how we could set that up as a follow-up session. Um, Again, can't say thank you enough. And also thank you to the folks that showed up. Um, these are great opportunities to learn from people that are very knowledgeable and experienced in these various fields, as clearly Mike has displayed today. Um, yeah, just absolutely fascinated. And now the rabbit hole has gotten even deeper. And if my wife asked me, like, why am I up at 2 o'clock in the morning researching AI? I'll just say, well, you can ask Mike about that.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Thank you very much. So you guys, I encourage you to practice, to try it out, to, like continue exploring the AI without any fear. Embrace the fear and be brave. This is a new world. And if you have any questions, you always can come back to me, like there will be contacts. I'm always very open to discussion and to answer the questions, even though sometimes my time is crazy, crazy. Yeah. I don't have wife anymore because of these reasons, but like it's worth of it, I would say. Yeah. SKI about that. Absolutely agree.
Amazing. And then you
Thank
said,
you guys. This
did
is a
you
great pleasure.
did you mention that you had one more prompt, or did I misunderstand?
Yes. I'm just building it at this moment right now. So you can talk a little bit more, and I just need 1 minute. Okay.
Yeah, sure, no worries. Just a heads up that looking ahead at some of the video things that we're going to be doing, expect an announcement around a X Spaces that will have Brooke from Vibe Camp to come on and talk about going from like pop-up events to like permanent hubs, and like what are the challenges associated with even doing a pop-up, and taking that from like a ethereal sort of thing to a more permanent experience, that where people can actually live at and grow that hub out. What are some of the things that people are like gravitating towards? What sort of events inside of pop-ups are people most engaging with? And then I believe there'll be some discussions about Vibe Camp as well and what they've been up to. Um, Later after that, you can expect that there will be discussions around governance to come in various P2P virtual learning experiences as well. Um, we've talked about VPAS in the previous community call, so hoping to have some announcements around that in the coming weeks. And if anybody is curious to try out VPAS, please reach out to me on Discord or in any other communication platform that you have connection with me, Telegram, X, wherever it might be. Happy to help onboard folks. I helped onboard Kit earlier today, and it went, I would say, fairly smoothly. So yeah, I mean, maybe Kit, you could talk real quick about your experience with VPass.
Yeah, it did go smoothly. But we connected on Zoom, and then he first shared his screen, so I had an idea of what was going on in the user interface. And so when I got there, it all looked familiar, and it was a pretty seamless onboarding, I'd say. There were no glitches. I had to put in an email address and wait a moment for the mail to arrive. But other than that, it went smoothly. And yeah, just on a high level, I think there's a lot of really nice potential with VPass, and it's not alone. There's other stuff like this going on, so it overlaps with things. But I really think VPass is off to a good start. But it's just a start. So if you, Eric or Co, if you have time and you want to try it out, then that's what we need. We need people to put it through its paces. So I'm not done yet. I always have some feedback. So I'll get back to you, Ben, with my comments after I played it a bit more.
Yeah, feedback is extremely welcome and encouraged for anybody who's interacting with VPass or already has potentially interacted with VPass. That's going to be what makes it better. It's going to be what makes the experience smoother. It's going to be the way that we find out what people really want out of VPass. So we can make sure that we're building out those various tools and mechanisms, etc., for individuals so that they get what they want. After all, this is like, it's not my community, it's everybody's community. And it's important to recognize that. And through community together, we're going to build some really amazing, epic things. So very excited.
Okay, so meanwhile I finished the prompt. Now I will share a file because I was trying to put it here like a text, but it's not allowed. It's not allowing to put this. So it is here. Wait, why is not here?
Question. How often do you use AI to generate the prompt for the AI?
Oh, all the time, all the time. So I made a special chat with AI, and it's a prompt generator. I provided some information, some like books about how to make proper prompts for the AI, and then I kind of set the boundaries. So whenever I need to make a prompt, I'm just like going there and I'm saying, okay, build me a prompt for this and providing some context. So then it's taking best practices of prompt engineering and generating a prompt for me. So it's kind of like make it easier. Oh, now here it is. AI for regeneration. Yep. So guys, this is very simple prompt that will enable, like this learning course creation, right? So if you want to learn about AI for regeneration, you use this prompt, put it in any AI, and then it will ask you questions about your background, about what you want to learn, etc., and will create for you a tailored learning course divided in, like these little segments, so you can basically learn by yourself. And this is also example how you can structure the prompts, how you can make different things with AI at the moment to learn and about AI and work with AI. So feel free to use it and don't hesitate to come back with.
Look good. Thanks.
It seems my internet connection's suddenly gone unstable on me. My apologies, but again, thank you, Mike, for joining us, and thanks everybody for joining us today. Again, hoping to have a follow-up session to this, and maybe pick out one or two more narrow topics within AI and regeneration and how to apply them and dig even deeper. Yeah, thanks again.
Sounds great. Thank you very much. All right, guys. So see you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.
Cheers to everyone.